Up at 6:30 this morning, out the door at 7:45, headed to my acupuncture appointment. The acupuncture place is about a half a mile from the Raleigh Supercharger, so it's pretty darn close up there. Don and Johnny are headed to the NC Clean Energy Summit this morning. Yeah, that's what they're headed to, over in Greensboro from 11 to 1:30. They're gonna talk a lot about electric buses, and I really wanted to go, and both Dawn and my chiropractor told me that I absolutely had to go to this acupuncture appointment, so I'm not going. But Dawn and I talked for a minute about who was taking Ruby. Me. Yeah, maybe I should have let him drive it to Greensboro, but they're gonna go in the XB. Dawn needed his Model 3 for this trip. That's what I think. But yeah, I think they'll have fun over there. They'll be back this afternoon, and yeah, I'm gonna go to my acupuncture and then piddle around a bit. Seems I have just a few minutes to spare. Let's hope traffic doesn't build and slow me down.
So me and Mr. Don are going to an awesome electric bus seminar today. Unfortunately, Mom couldn't make it. She had an appointment.
Yeah.
It's currently 8:20. We'll be hanging out at 8:45, and we'll be taking the GMC Envoy.
Yeah, we're going to try to swing by the landfill on our way. We got chores to do, but it's about an hour and 45-minute drive. It starts at 11, and it's in Greensboro. I tried to talk Mom to let me borrow the Tesla, but she didn't. Well, I shouldn't say talk her into it. I dangled a hook, and she didn't take it. So we're driving the GMC.
So we've loaded up the GMC Envoy, and we're right about to head out.
Well, I finished up my acupuncture appointment, which lasted over an hour, and she's really hopeful that we can get the sciatic nerve pain that I've been dealing with for weeks now under control, but of course not in one session, so I'll be going back. I'm on the wait list, but I might not be going back for a couple of weeks unless there's a cancellation. We'll see. I've driven over here to Crabtree Valley Mall, which is really close, and I'm going to walk around for a bit because I'm most comfortable when I'm walking. And Don and Johnny aren't home anyway. They should just about be getting over to Greensboro for that Clean Energy Summit. So I'm going to walk around for a few minutes and then probably head to the house. Money was no object. I'd probably take this home. But then this is pretty cool too. So many choices. Wow, that sure is impressive. So they have one working here. It's got power functions, battery, and motors that are moving it. It is way cool. A lot of detail. I can sum up my trip to the mall with one bag. Yay! Well, I certainly enjoyed my walk around the mall. Crabtree is always hopping. I don't know how the other malls in the area, well, South Point's doing good too, but like Cary Town Center's just desolate. But this is a very cheery place if you've got some money to spend though, like all the malls. But I enjoyed my walk around, and I'm gonna head back to the house now. It's 12:30. I ought to, the boys I think Don and Johnny are done at 1:30. Yeah, and then heading back. So I'm expecting them home like 2:30-ish, 3 o'clock at the latest maybe. Yeah, something like that.
All right. So Johnny and I are enjoying our apple spice box lunch. He's got a turkey avocado, and I've got a club. Yum, yum. So here's the EV car show, the Model 3. The guy just got it a couple weeks ago. He says he has 700 miles on it. So at the event there were lots of EVs, and they had some of them selling. They actually have charging at this site here, and we saw a Honda Clarity plug-in hybrid. One of the speakers, belongs to them. They just got it a couple weeks ago. It's a brand new car. It doesn't even have a tag on it yet.
I just saw a red-bellied woodpecker parent and juvenile, so parent and child at the suet. The children don't have any color on them. They're all just sort of gray and white. I missed the shot, but I swear I'm ready for when they come back. Hi, Midnight. Yeah, are you a good boy? Are you gonna watch for him for me? Thank you. So I am putting together some salads. I just had a message from Johnny that they're headed back. It's 2:30 and they're thinking 3:45 they should be home. So they'll beat the afternoon rush. So yeah, I'm excited to hear what they had to say about their day at the EV Summit. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How are ya?
Pretty good.
Yeah, did you have fun?
Yep.
Way cool. Did you guys ride through rain?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a pretty good shower here a few minutes ago. Good to see you, bud. So did they have lunch for you up there?
Yep, we had a turkey avocado. I had a turkey avocado sandwich. Mr. Don had a BLT.
Wow, look at you, handsome. All right, so tell me what you learned.
So, the bus company was called Proterra. There were 4 types of the bus models they sold. The least model went like 30 miles, and the greatest model went somewhere around 200, I think. They made them in 35 feet and 40 feet. 35 foot footers sat 28, and the 40 footers sat 40. And apparently Greensboro's getting 10 of them, 9 in September, 1 later on in the year.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Johnny and I today had the opportunity and very much enjoyed attending the Plug-in NC Spring Summit in Kernersville, North Carolina, which is a little over 90 miles from here. We drove over there and got there in plenty of time. It started at 11 a.m. After the initial welcome, they passed the microphone around. There were approximately 50 attendees, and each person attending the session introduced themselves and said what their interests were. There was a wide range of people attending the meeting. There were officials from several of the cities, Greensboro, Durham, Raleigh. There were people from the state Department of Environmental Quality, which is a big one because they're the ones that have control access to the Volkswagen
mitigation settlement, basically that $2 billion that split among the states based on how many diesel cars Volkswagen had sold. So there was a wide range. Probably a couple of the more interesting ones were one of the Greensboro, Greater Greensboro Community College person who was part or ran the Tesla program, basically the first one in the nation, according to the speaker, that they have set up to train people to be technicians qualified to work on Tesla. So that was exciting. I really wanted to talk to that gentleman, but I just, after the meeting, I didn't catch up with him, so I really missed the opportunity there. But as I said, there were people from several EV clubs there. There were people from the solar industry there because there's a high synergy between solar and EV adoption. There were people from Duke. Duke had plenty of people there. I would say there were 4 or 5 people from Duke Energy there, various different functions. So it was a broad spectrum. Johnny was the only teenager there, so that was good. But there were numerous interns from various different colleges who were part of the program. Anyway, so after the introductions, one of the speakers, the first speaker was from ChargePoint, the lady who is responsible for the southeastern part of the United States for working with businesses and companies who are wanting to put in electric vehicle charging infrastructure. She works with them to help them understand what they need and go through that process. She talked about and put up several charts. Basically about 48% of the EV are charged at either home or work. And then the other 52% are a broad spectrum of charging location: hotels, restaurants, malls, parks. They pretty much, she had numbers for pretty much all of them. The one thing I felt, she put up several other charts. One of them was that they projected that by 2040 EV sales would reach 55% of all new car sales will be EV. That seemed a little low to me, but they also said that she felt their analysts showed that 11% of the EVs or new car sales will be EVs in 2025. And that's only 7 years away. 2025 is coming here quicker, so maybe 11% is probably in the ballpark. I think the 50% mark of EV sales will happen well before 2040, but she might be right that somewhere greater than 10, but probably less than 15% by 2025. We'll have to see, because a lot of people are coming out with EVs, 2020, 2021, 2022. There's going to be a lot of different manufacturers having EVs, and we'll see, 3 years of sales, that number could easily get by 11%. But nonetheless, that was interesting to see. That's what they're looking at. She made it very clear that at this point in time, there is no profit model for EV charging. Not that you can't come up with something, but if you're getting into the EV charging business to make a profit right now, is probably not something that's going to happen. You can certainly start, and maybe in a few years when some regulations catch up and other things, they had more EVs on the road and things of that nature, you might turn a profit. But right now, there's not a big profit-making opportunity. It's sort of like, in some respects, what Tesla's going through right now. They're selling a lot of cars and making a lot of cars, but they're not making profit. Elon's saying that they're going to make profit in third and fourth quarter, be profitable third and fourth quarter. But there's still a lot of costs involved, and the profit isn't quite there yet. The other thing that I felt like she didn't address very well was she was quite focused on J1772 type charging, level 2 charging. ChargePoint does do fast chargers, and they do have some fast charging corridors and things like that. But my take is the adding more level 2 charging is probably not the solution. Not that level 2 charging is a waste. It's not. But when you have a car that only gets 80 miles range, you need level 2 charging. You need to be ABC, always be charging. So, having a charger at work, having a charger at the restaurant, having a charger, heaven forbid, at the grocery store, a level 2 charger where you could just plug in all the times because you only have a very limited range. That sort of makes sense. But I've come to understand that, it's almost not worth my time to seek out a level 2 charger almost anywhere. It's just not worth it. I mean, I charge at home. We leave home with 230 something miles of range. If I had to drive 40 miles to work, I wouldn't even bother to plug in at work. It's not worth trying to deal with the hassle of finding a place. Yeah, sure, I could get maybe some free energy at work, but is that really worth the bother of plugging in, then coming and moving the car so somebody else can plug in who really, really needs the charge? I think the secret is longer range cars, you don't need a lot of level 2 chargers. Yeah, it still makes sense to have level 2 chargers at work, but really, if the people have cars that get 200 plus miles of range, they're probably going to be charging. I mean, maybe people really trying to reduce their costs, they'll charge always at work. But really, the everyday, day in, day out type people, you're going to spend the $2 in electricity to charge at home and not be bothered with it anymore. At least that's my thought. So she didn't address that. That the demand from their outlook, level 2 more and more and is the answer, and I don't see that. I mean, if I had a hotel, bed and breakfast, I think level 2 chargers are fantastic. But a level 2 charger at Walmart, I go in Walmart and they're 20-30 minutes. It's getting 4 miles of range. I don't know. Granted, maybe if the parking place is right up there at the front, I might plug in and charge just because it's great parking place. But if it's not, if it's on the back 40, I'm gonna park closer. And just forget the 3 or 4 miles of charge I'm going to pick up at Walmart. It's just a matter. Now Walmart is putting in DC fast chargers. That's a totally different concept. I was just saying that this mass deployment of level 2 chargers, I just don't, even at workplaces to some extent, I just don't see it. I think, level 2 charger at home, yeah. Level 2 chargers at apartment buildings, well, equivalent of home, yeah. Those kinds of things. But level 2 chargers at every business and stuff like that, if it's not a place where you're going to stay all day or all night, I don't see it. But that's difference of opinion. They're in the charging business, and I think they basically make their money off of managing the chargers, not selling the electricity or providing the charger. In other words, the customer puts the charger in, and then ChargePoint manages the charger for them, and they guess they get a small fee for that. I don't know. She didn't get into all that. As part of in the questions and answers, somebody from the audience asked her about the nature of the port or charge connector, about CHAdeMO versus the combined charger, and she said they're pretty focused on J1772, the combined one, but she did call on a person from EVgo who was in the audience, And the EVgo lady answered the question. She said she was giving her opinion as personal, not the company policy. But she said a year ago her opinion was CHAdeMO was going to be around for a really, really long time, and CCS, they were just going to both coexist. But in the last year, her thinking has evolved to the point now where she's thinking that CCS is definitely going to, quote, win, that CHAdeMO is going to be around, but probably not forever. So that was an interesting thing that came up as part of the discussion. The question that I didn't ask that I would have liked to have gotten the answer of is what the ChargePoint lady, felt about Electrify America competing, supplying public chargings for a fee, and basically having government backing, unlimited pockets, $2 billion of funding. ChargePoint, they don't have that kind of funding. So I would have liked to have heard what her opinion of that Electrify America settlement was. I think that Electrify America was just a gift to Volkswagen. I mean, just on a silver platter. Please, Volkswagen, please, you Europeans run our charging infrastructure for us, please. We Americans, we can't figure it out. So maybe that's a good thing. Time will tell. The next speaker talked about Plug-in NC and their efforts around organizing and educating the different stakeholders. The stakeholders being the general population, people like me. Stakeholders being government officials. Also local officials, as in local politics. They had a set of approaches for the state, and then a approach for local municipalities, and then the last is they're trying to work with influencers, people who can influence other people, celebrity type situation, people who drive electric cars. As a matter of fact, as part of that, I thought it was very interesting. They're trying to work with somebody who's going to drive across North Carolina during September to visit various different sightseeing points in an electric vehicle and talk about and share their experiences on social media. I think that's a good idea if they can find some prominent North Carolina, I don't know, former football player, NC State or Carolina, basketball player or something like that, some well-known name who would be doing that. I think that's a worthwhile thing. Then we had lunch, and after lunch we went into the local person from Greensboro spoke about why they chose to buy 10 electric buses. They have a fleet of I want to say they have 24 buses right now, and they're going to put 10 electric buses on, and they basically have 16 routes that are fixed routes that they run, and they're going to put the electric buses on there, and they're hoping to save over the life of the bus approximately $350,000 over the cost of a diesel. They had already tried, I believe it was 6 hybrid diesel buses, but they have not proven to be a significant cost savings. They've not worked out to any particular advantage. They have very high hopes for the electric buses and feel very confident after visiting the Proterra factory in Greenville, South Carolina, visiting Clemson University, visiting another city in South Carolina that has been using Proterra buses, I think, since 2011. After talking with these people, they've chose to go on and buy 10 buses. They're going to get 9 of them delivered in this fall, and then 1 to come later. they'll be the first municipality in North Carolina to deploy buses. Asheville is getting some buses from Proterra, and something we've talked about before, RDU had got a grant from the FAA to buy electric buses, or the grant covers the cost difference between an electric bus and a standard diesel bus, and plus the charging infrastructure. And I believe RDU has bought 6 Proterra buses. So there will be 6 Proterra buses in Raleigh here shortly, working out at RDU along with the charging infrastructure. After the Greensboro transportation director talked about why they went with electric buses, Proterra in specific, the gentleman, the Southeast Regional Sales Director for Proterra got up and spoke and talked about their various different buses. They make 2 models, a 35 and a 40-foot, with different types of battery sizes and battery technology. They're built in South Carolina, and they have now since opened up another manufacturing plant in California, in Los Angeles area, and they have a battery plant is in Silicon Valley that makes the batteries. They have fast charge technology that basically can add 15 miles of range in 5 minutes. So buses, especially buses that run a fixed route, they typically go out, circle back around, and come back to a central site. And 15 miles typically would be plenty of range for that type of bus. So basically they can drive out, come back, charge for 5 minutes, load up again, and go out. And so they literally can run for 24 hours a day, just doing this loop, charging up for 5 minutes every time they come back. They can just continuously do that. And they have some battery technology that allows them to do it. It's semi-autonomous charging. The bus driver basically gives up control, basically places the bus in a straight in line with the charging apparatus. The charging apparatus talks to the bus and moves the bus forward and tells the bus exactly where to stop. And then from the ceiling, from the roof, the charging apparatus connects to the bus and charges it for 5 minutes, let's say, and can put 15 miles of charge range back into the battery in 5 minutes. So that's one form of the charger. They also have chargers that can charge overnight, basically 2.5 hour type chargers, which is what Greensboro is going with. They are going to install, they got a grant, Greensboro got a grant from Duke Energy that will install a 500 kilowatt DC fast charger that will fast charge the buses. They're working with Proterra to integrate the charging schedule into the bus routes, so that they maximize the bus en route type activity and minimize the impact of charging. And they're going to use a mixture of the fast charger and the overnight charging. Not all their buses are going to be on the road in the middle of the night, and so they will simply at the depot be plugged in to a normal CCS type charger and charge overnight. After he spoke that, there was just closing remarks, and they thanked everybody for their time and invited us to go out and to look at the various different cars, electric cars that were there. We went out and looked at there was a Model 3 out there, which had a big crowd around it. There was also a Honda Clarify, I think they said. Anyway, plug-in hybrid. It was brand spanking new. The guys had it for 2 weeks. One of the speakers, that was his car. There was also a Nissan a representative there who brought a brand new 2018 Nissan Leaf. It was very nice. So that anyway, it was well worth the time going up there. The drive, we didn't have any weather trouble, traffic. You know, I missed not having Ruby, but you know, driving the
Sorry.
Yeah, Marianne drove Ruby, so I had to drive an ICE car. Make excuses, but
the 3, Donnie, the 3.
right. I guess she's trying.
It's all your fault.
All my fault. That's right. So anyway, didn't mean to be quite so long-winded, but it was well worth the time and effort I took to get up there, and I really appreciate Plug-in NC let me and Johnny attend. That was great.